Okay, so you guys, excuse me, we've recently got the box with Phoenix, the Savior, Perseus, and of course the new Dangerous Belial. This video though is to talk about this guy right here. I don't know about you folks, but when I first got him out of the box and started using him, I noticed the string was getting jammed right away. And at first I was pretty upset because obviously the set is not cheap, and because the launcher comes with the set, how in the world are we going to get this replaced was my question. But I started taking it apart and I found that the culprit to all this are these locking pieces right here. These, even though they're a cool idea, I'm not entirely sure why they're needed, but I'll show you what they do. When you take the parts off and you try to pull the string, it locks. That's what these two spring locking pieces do. On the counter to that though, or the flip side, they cause the launcher to sometimes jam. I don't know, causes unnecessary friction with the gears and the string inside. So I'm going to show you a very easy way to fix your launcher so that you don't have to freak out and think, oh no, my launcher's broken, or spend money on buying a new set or a new launcher. Because if you're like me, we don't have money to throw around. So it's actually very, very, very simple. All you're going to need is a small Phillips head. I'll go ahead and take this apart. Now, it's already been done on this guy, but I will walk you through because it's very, very simple. Go ahead and get these unscrewed. Okay, so when you are all said and done, it's going to be on the left side. That's where the access to all the screws are. Also, make sure that this is off your grip. I started it with it on the grip. Just make sure it's off. You're going to have a total of 7 screws, 2 small ones that go up top here, and then the rest are going to go all around the bottom of the body. Now when you take this apart, just to keep from things popping out at you, I recommend putting the left-hand side down, hold it in your palm, and gently just wiggle the top half off, okay? Now, I want to point out something because I've already done it with this already. Underneath this plate, you're going to see 2 other screws, which you can get out with your Phillips head. One of these locking mechanisms is underneath. Okay, so you want to take that out and then pop the plate back on, screw it back on, real easy. And then the other one is going to be underneath the actual gear and string itself. Okay, these just slide in place. There's no popping in, snapping, or anything like that. They're really easy to deal with. Now the second one, you're going to find somewhere in here in this fashion. You simply just pull it out, watch out for the spring, it'll pop out at you. Keep them if in case you do feel like making it come back in. If you want to put it back together the way it's supposed to, that's up to you. I personally like it without. Now with this, I didn't remove them because I've yet to have any issues on this particular model. I'm not really sure why it works here and it didn't work here. And you'll see that I have this black one. This was my first Dynamite launcher that I had to put away in a drawer because it was doing the same thing, and I was like, oh man, what a waste. So, but ever since then, let me show you how it works when you don't have those locking mechanisms in. You can still pull it, and it doesn't affect how you put these back together. So again, I wonder what is the purpose of these altogether. Actually, I find it easier to put these back in place since you can now move the string while you're trying to get the gears to line up. So I find it's easier to put back together. I mean, you can even put the top on, pull the string out, see how it all works. You can use that to align your components as you piece it back together. That's the wrong way, right? No issues. And it's buttery smooth now. There's no kind of like, you know, when you pull it and sometimes it does this and then it goes in, or you have to kind of like pull it all the way out and then let it wind up. It's just, it glides perfectly. So I actually managed to restore this old one by doing this trick, okay? So once you get these 2 pieces out, you are pretty much done. It's just a matter of putting it back together. But let me show you an important trick with the gear and the string. Okay, when you get to this step and you're ready to piece everything back together, if you've pulled this out and maybe it's come all the way unwound, this is really important. I'm going to show you there's an arrow in there that's pointing counterclockwise. You're going to want to wrap the string in that same direction, okay? Because when this pulls, that is the direction you want so that this can use the spring coil that's inside properly. If it goes the opposite direction, you will actually break the spring and then this piece will make your entire driver, or launcher, sorry, completely useless. So wrap it back up, get the left half facing down in your palm, line the slot with a little piece in there, should just pop right in. And at this point, so we make the pullback, or the, I'm not really sure what the proper word is for it, but when it retracts the string back in, you want it to be nice and tight all the way up to the launcher, instead of doing this like floppy thing. What I do is I take it and I wrap this around basically 2 times. So that was 1, and then I kind of put your thumb there. Gotta watch out for these little sliding metal pieces. And I wrap it around twice. So that way when it goes to retract the string back in, it keeps it nice and tight, okay? Line the little gold piece up here up top. All right, once you've got that held up there with your thumb, you don't have to worry about this popping out. Okay, so we've round the spring. Line up your little gold eyelets in the right spots. There's 2. There's one here, the one that goes there, right? As long as you've done the trick where you wrap it around twice and you get some nice tension there, the spring actually holds it all in place very nice, as long as you're not shaking it around like crazy. The next thing you want to do is add these little side plastic pieces. All they do is just pop right in, okay? The little like etched nub there sticks on the outside. Okay. There we go. Just a little gentle press in place for that one. And the kids are playing in the background. Okay, you got all 3 set up. Now you take your right half, line it up, place it together, and then look at that, nice and smooth. All you gotta do is pop your screws back in place and you are ready to rock and roll. Okay, so once all the screws are back in place, everything's all lined up and pieced back together, it no longer will lock the string on you, but you will notice right away that by simply pulling the string out, that it's real smooth. There's no more, you know, kind of glitching, catching, all that stuff. You know, this number where it hangs up and then you have to kind of like tug on it and fix it. That simply just does not happen anymore. Now you will feel some kind of tugging pulling once the small power cord gear is on. I think that's just because this is a smaller, different shaped gear when it's lined up with this. So you do get some little amount of tugging, but nowhere near as bad as it was when I pulled it out of the box. I honestly felt like my launcher was broken and was a little annoyed by that. So like I said, this is not cheap. There you go. You just pull on the string, line everything up, slides right on real nice. But see? So you hear that the gears are kind of doing their thing, and that's what that is. But even still, it feels a million times better than it was before. So once we get all the pieces put back fully together, we have ourselves a perfectly good watching launcher. And look, it's nice and tight, comes all the way up to the handle. So we're good to go. So I hope that helps some of you out. Hopefully you've not, you know, gone through the trouble trying to get a replacement or buying another launcher because it might be busted. And if you have old launchers, Dynamite, that you don't use because of something going wrong, go ahead and try that trick. It might actually restore it and make it a perfectly good launcher again. So I'm really excited to have this one back. This was my first Dynamite one, and now I can use it again, so it gives me more launchers to play with. All right, enjoy, guys.